Our brokenness is something I have felt since the bombs have started dropping, and even before. And though the tide of popular opinion swishes and sways, there's times that you feel very much alone. And even John Lennon's hymn of hope starts at the place of nullification. Imagine, know this, and know that, and know this, and know that. It might have been me that George Will was writing about this week in a recent column where he commented on research that shows that conservatives are happier than liberals. Mocking liberals, he writes, but then conscientious liberals cannot enjoy automobiles because there's global warming to worry about, and the perils of a corporate-driven consumerism, which is the handmaiden of a bourgeois materialism and high-powered cars. I mean, how many liberals drive Corvettes? Are metaphors for America's reckless foreign policy and machismo rampant, etc. And then there is or was all that rustic beauty paved over for highways, and those giant parking lots at exurban megachurches. The less said about them, the better. And automobiles discourage egalitarian enjoyment of mass transit. You see, liberalism is complicated and exacting, not to say a grim and scolding creed, and not one conducive to happiness. In a way, I agree with him. I would be happy if I did not worry about pollution, but I do enjoy breathing. I would be happier if the government was not selling the national forest, but I do enjoy trees. I would be happier if people were not dying in war because I enjoy peace. I would be happier if my tax money was going to help the sick and the poor, but instead it goes to war. I would be happier if I just did not care. I'd be happier if I was selfish. I would be happier if I cared only about my child's education and not about everybody else's child's education. I'd be happier if I could just pretend that the cheap things I buy from China were not made by oppressed workers. I could be happier if I just stopped paying attention. I believe in the bumper sticker that says, if you are not outraged, then you are not paying attention. I am outraged. They say ignorance is bliss, but I feel ignorance is too high a price to pay for happiness. So where does that leave me? Outraged. What do I do with my outrage? Well, sometimes I listen to music. Green Day, System of a Down. This is loud music. This is not just Led Zeppelin loud. This is loud, angry, it's politically aware, it lists the problems of the world. And these two groups use the F word a lot, more than a minister, even a UU minister, should hear. It feels good to get this angry, but it's a temporary high. When the music stops, I wake up with my hangover of concerns. So I try to detach my emotion. I seek understanding. I have heard that knowledge is power, so I listen to public radio. Perhaps that will be empowering. Perhaps I can listen to an intellectual debate and develop wisdom that will lead to a better day. But soon I am screaming at my radio, using the F word more than a minister, even a UU minister, should. Is it possible to be well-informed and hopeful? How can I reconcile my soul to the fact that my country has destroyed the infrastructure of Iraq, and there are many still without electrical power or clean water? How can I reconcile my soul to the thousands we have killed? How can I watch as that country dissolves into civil war? Do I have the right to turn away and pretend it's not happening? It feels hopeless. Both our continued presence or quick withdrawal could make things worse. And at the same time, I feel all my grief and anger is just a waste of time. I lose energy by always venting. Yet if I deny my feelings, I'm afraid I might have a stroke. I can't let this rage and grief destroy me. And then I will not have a chance of being effective, of bringing peace to the world. If I have no peace within myself, I will have no peace to share with others. I need to actively look for signs of hope. Preparing for this sermon, I thought of poetry. Poetry often takes me out of my worrying mind and into the subjective world of metaphor where everything is possible. I typed peace poems into my search engine and found a site sponsored by the United Nations. Every primary grade and middle grade and secondary grade school, including homeschools around the world, was invited to submit via email 2 lines of poetry about peace to the United Nations. Once collected, the lines were collated together into one long peace poem and redistributed to all participants as well as posted on the web. Poems came in from 38 countries around the world. Here are a few of the couplets. From peace we come, and to peace we go. Meanwhile, peace is something we don't know. From my mother's womb, I came out yelling for life. It's great that I am surviving, but there is no peace. I wish I could have stopped what caused the first human to be violent to another. Then maybe the world would still be living in peace. Peace without comes from peace within. Let it blow in your direction. Let it touch you, melt you, and mold you. Peace is in the waves of the sea. Peace must begin with you and me. Increase peace. Let it be whispered into your ears. Open your hearts for the sake of peace. Let's make the world a better place for all of us. Peace is hope in your heart. Peace is faith, not fear. You are not alone. All around you, there is peace. All people in the world are your friends. Peace is working together, a preparation for the future. From children around the world, we hear the words of hope. They inspire me to keep on trying. I resonate with the child from Uganda who said, "From my mother's womb I came out yelling for life. It's great I am surviving, but there is no peace." Yelling for life, that's a place to start healing. Recognizing the pain of existence, yet striving to persevere. So for me, listening to angry groups is a place for me to start yelling for life. Earlier I sang the words, "My shadow is the only one that walks beside me." All of us need that time to walk alone, to meet our shallow side, to confront our rage and despair. Some do it by taking a long walk, exercising their muscles and getting their hearts pumping, releasing the rage kinetically. Some do it by praying. And I'm not talking your peaceful meditative prayer, not grace, not "now I lay me down to sleep," but lamentations, like the tortured words of Jesus on the cross, my God, why have you forsaken me?" Some like the cathartic release of music, loud, throbbing, overwhelming. We need to find the ways to confront and release our rage. When we confront our own rage and despair, we realize we are not so different from our enemies. But we cannot stay in our rage. We must trudge through it. We blast through the wall of rage, not for the sake and fun of blasting and blowing things up, but to open a doorway to new possibilities. A place where we can imagine all people living life in peace. Perhaps, like the child from Michigan, we will realize peace is hope in your heart. Peace is faith, not fear. If we have hope, we care enough, we have a confidence enough to reach out to each other. When I'm down and troubled and need a helping hand, I have found it in community. This fellowship, which I am supposed to minister to, has ministered to me. And I offer you my thanks and my gratitude. I step in here and find hope for the world. Our children are being taught to hope. I sense a warmth among the dinners when we share, among the adults, among the dinners too, when we share a potluck dinner. I see the beauty of the sacred space that you have built. We need each other to share our joys and sorrows and work towards a world of hope. We find that others have survived their private pain, and we accept one another. We listen and we learn from each other. We realize we are not alone. Recently, I stood at the site of a murder in this town, doing a vigil for healing, singing about love in Spanish and in English. The wind and the rain had blown out the candle I was holding, but there was warmth and light rising out of our shared pain. And afterwards, a vat of coffee appeared. And mugs were dipped in and passed around, and we reached for sweet bread that was broken for us. We smiled across the language barrier and knew that things could get better. We shared a communion of hope. We felt the truth of an unknown child in Beijing who said, "You are not alone. All around you, there is peace. All people in the world are your friends." Human history is full of war that cannot be changed. but each new day brings possibilities. We can either embrace hope or be overwhelmed by the pain of the past. Each day we can be reborn, yelling for life. Each day we can seek friendship. We can believe the child from Nevada who said, "Peace is working together, a preparation for the future." Not all of our efforts will be met with success, but let there be joy in trying, hope in relying on each other. Peace may be an imagined dream, but to let the dream die is suicide, not only for ourselves, but for the world. We will never know peace unless we believe in peace and work together to create peace. I leave you with these words from an elementary school student in Utah. What is peace? The most beautiful thing the world can make. Is it true? We don't know, but it's a great thing to reach for. May we bless and be blessed.